million. And since ARPA's passage in 2021, the allowed uses for this one-time money have been expanded. In addition, tonight, City Engineer Lamar Rutland will give the council a briefing on a new law that was created by Senate Bill 2822 from this past session. And I want to publicly thank our legislative delegation who supported this, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hoseman for being a champion for this, and for Speaker Gunn agreeing enthusiastically with the proposal as well. And I also want to acknowledge the great and effective advocacy of the Mississippi Municipal League, its staff and its legislative committee members, of which Councilman George is one. With the Mississippi Legislature's action, there is an incentive to steer our ARPA allocations toward long-term strategic investments by getting a one-to-one match on water, sewer, and stormwater projects. And so for Hattiesburg, we consider that we got $12.8 million. This means we could turn that into $25.6 million if all of the funds were used for water, sewer, and stormwater projects and leveraged against the state's matching program. However, like every other city, we have many needs. We are under consent decree for sanitary sewer overflows, and ARPA represents an avenue to move further along in sewer line replacement and rehabilitation. We have stormwater needs, as we saw today, as Hattiesburg continues to see more flash flooding events. We've made a lot of great progress in replacing those undersized and aging water lines. And so while I do anticipate that we have universal agreement that our allocation, that most of our allocation should be leveraged against the state to invest in water and sewer and drainage, I know there are other needs that the council and our residents would like to try and address. We could take this opportunity to invest in our human capital and quality of life by strengthening our partnership with PRCC to give residents more workforce training opportunities. We could provide free Wi-Fi at our parks. We can invest in our downtown. We could update our fleet of public safety and sanitation vehicles, or invest in our employees. So we must consider the tangible impact, whether a project has large direct benefit to residents and businesses, the long-term impact that will have positive impacts beyond 10 years or more, the community need to disadvantaged communities, our ability to leverage funds so that monies can be matched to expand the impact, like what you'll hear about tonight, efficiency where impact is greater than its resource expenditure, and then the potential for transformative change where we achieve something that would not have happened without these ARPA funds. And so now that we have information on how best to leverage our ARPA money, we want to give the public an opportunity to also weigh in and offer ideas on potential projects. That's why the city launched a new online survey this morning. It's hattiesburgms.com/ARPA, where you can read about our allocation, but residents can mostly check the areas on a survey which are of most importance to them, and they can even submit specific projects for consideration. And so in weighing the potential uses, it's very clear that $12.8 million will not go very far in meeting everyone's wish list. That's why it's so important to be strategic with these funding decisions, and most importantly, to give the public a voice in how monies are spent with this one-time money. I'll say this too. If everyone's idea does not make the list of expenditures for $12.8 million, this does still give us impact on direction on what is important to our residents and neighborhoods. And other funding can be secured to make these ideas happen that get submitted on this website. If we have been successful at anything over the past 5 years, it's been securing state and federal resources and creating partnership with counties, commissions, universities, school districts to accomplish shared goals. So with that, I'll turn it over to Lamar Rutland to go over the specifics of the matching grant program created by Senate Bill 2822.
I think the mayor covered most of it.
I'm the opening act.
Tough act to follow. Kermis, if you could be so kind, there's a PowerPoint presentation on this laptop there. Show the world. Thank you, sir. Next slide, please. So, Senate Bill 2822 created the MCWI grant program. That is the grant program that is authorized for DEQ to oversee for investments for cities and counties to match their, for us, it would be a one-to-one matching amount. These fundings are available with the ARPA funds with a one-to-one match. One thing to note on all of these funds, your professional fees cannot exceed 4% of the total project. So as you'll see probably coming in the next upcoming budgets, that we will have a greater increase on our professional fees, mostly because we will be using the ARPA funds themselves for construction So our professional fees would be increased more than normal. Next slide, please. So, the projects are selected by MDQ, and certain projects is mainly looking at the management and treatment of stormwater, which is a little bit more broad than what the particular ARPA funds were designated. And then any eligible drinking water or stormwater project through ARPA guidelines. So for us, as we were mostly looking at, is talking about our water, or stormwater and wastewater projects. All of those are applicable. But one thing that the Senate bill states is they set what factors MDQs must utilize in their ranking forms to rank these projects. So, in going through these factors, there's a list of them. You know, some things rank higher points than others. One big thing is approval of plans and permits. So is this project shovel ready? We do have several projects that are through the design process and design is complete. So those are gonna rank higher than others. You know, the quantity of people that are served, you know, you will get more points if this project serves the entire city rather than if you're looking at a project that may just serve one street. And, you know, also economic impacts. You know, that's a big thing also in these is what is the more economic is related to the community. So are you serving a disadvantaged community in some of those? So there's several other factors. Economic development, does this project bring economic development to the community? While that's a ranking factor, it's not given as much points as some of the other factors in there. So, next slide, Dana. So MDEQ will determine what projects will be selected. They will determine whether it's considered a necessary investment. So a few things about the first wave of projects. As we were told, we had a webinar that was held last Thursday. Didn't really provide a whole lot of new information, but we were told that no more than 40% of the funds can be spent in the first round. Of that 40%, 20% of it must go to equal amount must go to drinking, wastewater, and stormwater. So your first round, doing some rough engineering math, you're gonna get $36 million to each one of those categories. After that, there's no stipulation on how they use those funds. But your first round of that initial 40% of the 180 of the total amount allocated, about 180 million, must go to equal amount to those. We were told that the application portal will open sometime in September and close sometimes towards the end of September. No specific dates were given. No other things were provided for us, so we're kind of waiting for that information. You know, it must, so me and the mayor, as one of the items on the agenda, will select us as the applicant, so we will actually have the authority to go in the portal and, you know, fill out the documents to select. We will also have to have a council delegation selecting the project, so probably one of the next few council meetings, you know, between now and the end of September, we'll come back with a list of projects to select. So that's just, and then the grant funds will be available through December 31st of 2026. MDEQ is stating that, you know, as of right now, they want all the funds expended, all invoices received by September 31st, 2026. And then last slide, please. So of that, they have provided us with a draft checklist, that initial checklist of items that may be applicable that we'll have to submit. Within that initial checklist, it was 100 items. They narrowed it down to 78 items. Of those items, it's something as, you know, easy as what's your tax ID to very detailed project scope and a detail of the city's financial and ethics policy. So I mean, we do have a lot of, you know, varying information that we have to submit. Don't really know what form that's going to be submitted in or anything else. We're waiting for whenever this application portal is open. All the information found here and related, and actually the actual Senate bill can be found on the website for this, which is MississippiWaterInfrastructure.com. If y'all have any questions. And that's all I have. Thank you, Terrence. Great.
Council, any questions, would you like to take those?
Do you have, real quick, Lamar,
Yeah.
so when's the next webinar? When do you think that you're gonna know when in September this opens and when in September it closes? And where are we in the process? Where are we in the process? How many projects do you think that we have so they're ready? And just give us some idea of where we are, you think?
So I'll take a couple of those. I think it opens September 1st.
They told us sometime in September. On the webinar, they did not give us an exact date. We would like to think it's early September. They were pretty confident about the closing at the end of September, September 30th, but they would never give us an opening, an exact date of, hey, it's gonna be open on September 1.
In terms of the criteria, the scoring criteria, I mean, the biggest point value goes to those cities who have projects that are shovel ready or can be shovel ready in 6 months. We got 2 projects that are almost ready to go to bid now, and that's Martin Luther King sewer and water, and Edward Street sewer and drainage, or sewer. And so those 2 should score pretty high because they're in communities where the median income is less than the rest of the city. I think what we hope through this website that we've created, we want to see what our residents think in terms of non-infrastructure needs or our infrastructure needs. Obviously, any needs, the council, most of you have voiced some things that you'd like to see. And so taking those, but, I think a one-to-one match is hard to pass up. When you're talking about doubling your money if you spend it on certain things. So, I think it'll just be an ongoing conversation, but we will have, I can tell you almost for certain that the next council meeting will ask for the council's authorization to apply for MLK and for, Edward Street.
Thank you for that.
So,
Thanks, Lamar.
Any other questions, council? Alright, we'll move forward with work session item